What's going on, everybody? This is dkdynamite, and tonight we're going to be going through every single Dark Ops challenge for the campaign, multiplayer, and even zombies. Definitely stay tuned. But real quick, I do want to remind you that as of recording this video, Black Ops 7 hasn't integrated with Warzone yet, so we're not going to be going through the new BO7 Warzone Dark Ops, which I'm sure we're going to learn a lot more about within a week or two of Season 1 starting. I'm also going to make a separate follow-up video talking about those, and of course, the detonated article linked down below will be getting updates as we do learn more information. Now, as I've done for the last couple of years, we're going to be walking through what each of the Dark Ops challenges are, giving advice on how to complete them, while I also want to remind you that some of the Dark Ops are pretty self-explanatory, some of which are also some copy-pasted Dark Ops challenges, which we typically see every year, especially within a Call of Duty multiplayer. So as of right now, there's 49 total Dark Ops available in Black Ops 7. That's 22 for zombies, 19 for multiplayer, and 8 in the campaign. These secret challenges are, of course, separate from the regular calling card challenges, which you can already see the objectives for and you can track right now in game. These Dark Ops are completely secretive, and luckily, as of this year, weren't data mined either. But as a quick reminder, you can also save 12% off any order at Control Freak when you use code DYNAMITE, especially for the brand new Black Ops 7 Performance thumbsticks. There's an in-game weapon charm and even a limited time collector's box while supplies last. So starting off with campaign, we have Absolute Loss. They want you to beat Menendez using only machetes inside of the mission Exposure. This is the first mission in the campaign, and you won't actually fight Menendez until the very end of the mission, where you're also given machetes that you can call in almost like airstrikes. All you have to do is simply not use your weapon and wait for the machete airstrike to cool down so that you can keep calling it in. And of course, you want to place it over Menendez right when he moves to a new position so that the machete has enough time to drop in and do a bunch of damage to him. Next up, we have Green Thumb. They want you to beat the Nightmare in Mission Distortion without taking any damage. The Nightmare is actually just the boss fight of this mission, so if you're on this fight and you start taking some damage by mistake, you can of course reload a checkpoint to give yourself another try. There's actually a good 4-minute walkthrough that was posted by Metal, who didn't take any damage during this fight. I'm going to leave that tweet linked down below so you can see exactly how he did it. Essentially, you could do this solo, but if you're on co-op, you'll probably get some more enemy spawns. In that case, you're going to want your teammates to progress through some of the phases for you while you kind of stand back and take cover. And you just want to make sure you know where all the enemies are at all times so that you know what to expect. Might take you a couple of tries with reloading checkpoints and just mastering every phase of this fight so you know how to grapple away and avoid taking some damage. It's also important to master the abilities that you have so that you can take out some enemies rather quickly, whether it's with a war machine or whether you use another ability to see enemies through walls so you know where everyone is at a moment's notice. But coming up next, we have Undaunted. They want you to survive the Horde of Fears in the mission Suppression. This is by far my favorite level of the co-op campaign, and towards the end of the level, it becomes a round-based zombies experience where there's a bunch of zombies spawning in and chasing you all around the cabin. On co-op, this becomes more difficult. You want to make sure you're running in a counterclockwise or clockwise position so that you're not merging your trains and getting yourselves down by mistake. If you guys do go down during this Horde attack, it'll actually precede you with the following cutscene, and it'll move you on to the next campaign level. The trick here is not going down, and if you feel like you're about to get cornered, try to reload from checkpoint, especially if you're on solo. Now, I'd say this is easiest to do on solo by running just one train all around the cabin, maybe going in when you need to, but just making sure that you're killing time and putting in some damage to the zombies so that you can limit the train that you have. But we then have Dream Team. They want you to play endgame and successfully escape from Zone 4 25 different times. This is pretty self-explanatory, where all you need to do is simply exfil from a tier 4 zone in 25 different games. Again, don't go to a tier 4 zone until you have a high enough combat rating, a legendary weapon, maybe an exotic one, or if you're being carried, to ensure that you can make it through what is considered a pretty tough exfil, since it'll spawn in a good wave of zombies you have to take out before taking on the Cradle Champion. Once the HVT is killed, you can then exfil away. Now, when I recorded this, I was working on leveling up a bunch of new operators since I crashed just the other day and lost my level 60. I also believe exfilling from the Dr. Faulkner boss fight, which is also in tier 4, should count towards progression of this challenge. But we then have Exotic Arsenal. They want you to get an elimination with 6 different exotic weapons. You can obtain exotic weapons by doing contracts in the tier 4 zone. There'll be a random chance that a loot case will drop, featuring some exotic choices, or you can go to the Dr. Faulkner boss fight at the bottom of the map, and after you take him down, there'll be a guaranteed exotic rarity weapon that you can also pick up. But do keep in mind you can only hold one exotic rarity weapon at a time, so it's going to take you a couple of games to get enough exotic weapons to get this done. But coming up on the final Dark Ops for campaign, we have Monkeying Around. In endgame, find to complete a dive course and a parkour course. The thing is, this is meant to be unlocked after completing both, again, a parkour and a dive course. Some folks are reporting that they're getting the Dark Ops unlocked after completing one or the other, which I don't believe is intentional, so I'm sure they're going to fix that in the coming weeks. I will show you some markers on the TAC map of where I'm able to complete a parkour or a dive course. There's a few different options, and essentially you're looking for that green marker on the ground or underwater, going through it, getting a sound cue, and then finding the next green marker of where you're supposed to go. Now you'll have the glow sticks underwater to guide you where you need to go next. It's the same path every time, at least with this dive course. Now keep in mind, not every set of glow sticks under here will give you an air bubble so that you can keep going. The goal is to make sure you stay underwater, don't go to the surface. If you do, you'll have to restart this process, which thankfully you could do in the same match. You'll know you did this correctly once you make it to the end, as you can see here on this dock, and there'll be a loot case just waiting for you. I believe the rewards are always score streaks though. But when it comes to parkour, there's several locations where you can do this, some of which are harder than others. You only need to pick one. I'll put a clip on screen of where you can do some different parkour. You'll also get a sound cue if you fail. It's kind of faint, but I'll try to put it on screen so you can hear. And the goal here is clearly to not touch the ground. You can't grapple, you can't use your wingsuit. You have to just maneuver yourself from point A to point B. With the one that I chose, I have to make it from this container, which is my starting point, to a different container on the opposite side of the dock. You just want to remember to get as much momentum going as you can before making a jump. Try to give yourself as much space as possible to start running, then make that jump at the very end. Now jumping into multiplayer, as of right now, 17 of the 19 Dark Ops challenges have been discovered, so once the last two do get found, I'll of course ensure that there's an update in the detonated article linked below. Luckily though, you can already get Dark Ops Mastery in multiplayer just by completing at least 15 of these challenges. Once you figure out what the last two are, which I'm sure are tied to something pretty tedious, like hitting max level with every weapon in the game or something, once we figure those out, I'll be sure to update that article linked in the description. So jumping into the challenges that have been in almost every Black Ops game now, they're going to want you to get a Frenzy Killer medal, which is to get 5 rapid kills, a Mega Killer medal, which is to get 6 rapids, we have Ultra Killer requiring 7 rapid kills, and then a Chain Killer medal, which does require 7+ rapid kills. We then have the Relentless Killer calling card requiring 20 kills without dying, then the Brutal Killer calling card requiring 25 kills without dying, and then, last but not least, to complete this set, they want you to earn a Nuclear medal, which is 30 kills without dying, or using score streaks. So if let's say you earn a nuke, which is a combination of a bunch of gun kills plus let's say a couple of extra kills from the war machine or something else that's lethal, that actually won't count towards the Nuclear medal Dark Ops unless it's bugged, so you have to make sure you're using just a base weapon to get those 30 flawless kills. If let's say you hop into a game and you just aim for a nuclear, then hey, that means you can get 7 Dark Ops challenges by just 1 gun streak alone. But next up we have Nuked Out, which has a very nice animated calling card attached to it where you have to earn a nuke in free-for-all without using any score streaks. Funny enough, a nuke requires 30 kills, and what do you know, free-for-all only lets you get 30 total kills, so you have to go on a flawless run in a match of free-for-all without dying a single time. Coming up next, we have Circus Act, which requires a bang shot kill with a combat axe. Again, you have to make sure that the combat axe actually bounces off of a surface or another object, and then hits the enemy player, which will result in a bang shot. We then have Extreme Precision, which is to get 5 headshots with a sniper rifle without reloading or dying. Funny enough, as of recording this, a face-off playlist just got added into BO7 multiplayer, which should obviously allow for some easier completions of some of these Dark Ops. We then have Pushing the Limits, one of the craziest Dark Ops in BO7, which is to unlock all overclocks for 40 different items. I'm surprised somebody out there already got this done because the earn rate's pretty slow for the overclocks in multiplayer or the augments in zombies, as we'll get to in a bit. So yeah, this could take you a little while, but to get overclocks inside of BO7, you want to make sure you're using the item you want overclocks for as much as you possibly can. Next up, we have Same Day Delivery, which is to get 2 or more kills with a single body shield explosion. So of course, you have to grab somebody and then etch a grenade onto them, push them forward, and hopefully other enemies walk past you as you're doing that. Could be easy on hardcore, but again, pretty hard to pull off. Next up, we have Trip Cap, which is to control all 3 objectives in domination for 3 minutes straight. Can't stress this enough, you're going to want to play with a full 6-man stack to ensure that you guys are maybe dividing 2 players per objective. That way you can ensure that not only do you have all 3 objectives captured, but you have to maintain that for over 3 minutes. That's where you're going to want to call in all the streaks that you have, and also hope the enemies aren't too competitive, in which you might get interrupted during this challenge. But next up we have Castled, which is to get 10 kills without leaving a single objective zone. This obviously could be done in game modes like Domination or Hardpoint, where you have a ton of time in one objective zone alone. And we then have a reverse card. Kill an enemy with the explosion caused by shooting an enemy piece of equipment or a field upgrade. So this is going to rely on some good old player RNG where you got to hope that the enemy team is throwing down a bunch of field upgrades or pieces of equipment and then walks over said equipment as you destroy it. The last one we know about so far is Gift Horse. Get a kill with a score streak that you stole from the person that you stole it from. This is where you want to make sure that when an enemy throws down a care package, you know exactly who did it, take the streak, and then hopefully hunt them down with the streak that you got. Hopefully it's a good lethal one where it's easy to pull that off. Now again, the Dark Ops Mastery calling card does count as one of the challenges here, so that's why if you're like, wait a second, you only went over 16 challenges, what are the last 3 calling cards? Well, the 17th here is the fact that you got 15 of these done, which leaves 2 more challenges left to be found. Now when it comes to zombies, the Dark Ops that seemingly haven't been found yet are related to Curse Mode Relics and even Dead Ops Arcade 4, neither of which have the largest audiences, right? A majority of people are still playing Standard, they're gonna wait for Directed, so it may take a little while to figure out what some of these other challenges are. For now though, we have Invincible, survive to round 50 without getting downed. You want to make sure that you're as decked out as can be and ensuring that maybe some of your augments could save you before taking it down, such as Dying Wish for example, but also run Ether Shroud in the case you do get cornered because that could probably save your run while trying to do this. And hey, as a reminder for getting round 50 on Van Dorn Farm, you'll also get a Gobblegum reward for doing so you can actually knock out 2 birds with 1 stone here. We then have another round, which is to reach round 100 inside of any map of Black Ops 7 Zombies. Keep in mind, even if other Dark Ops do get added in the future with DLC maps, you can still do most of these challenges while playing other round-based experiences. We then have the one, reach round 999. Yes, you heard that folks, round 999 will give you a calling card, and it's a Dark Ops, which means that if you want to get every single challenge done, this will by far be the hardest Dark Ops challenge probably in Call of Duty history. Getting 1,000,000 kills is tedious and will take you several months, if not even longer, but this is one that's even harder to achieve. When you take into account you have to be on solo, you have to have a save file, you have to hope you don't crash. A lot of factors playing into this here, but shout out to Decal for actually reaching this round already and confirming that this is indeed a Dark Ops. Next up we have Anathema, eliminate 1,000,000 zombies. We saw this one back inside of Black Ops 6. We then have Social Distancing, reach round 20 without taking any damage. I believe the cheese method has been patched for this, where you can't just join somebody on, let's say, round 19, wait for the round to flip, and then get this one guaranteed. That worked back in BO6. I don't think it's going to work now, but maybe it did work for you, and you can confirm it down below in the comments. Now, credit to AC Omega, who seems to have figured out that if you just trap yourself with toxic growth at spawn, then throw a bunch of point turrets, and of course some decoys, partnered with some good Gobblegums if you need them, I know he didn't use any, then you should be able to get to round 20 without getting hit. We then have Harbinger of Doom, kill 100 zombies with a single score streak. This is where you want to be on a semi-high round to make sure you have enough zombies on the map, make sure your teammates don't steal any unless you're playing solo, and then pop something like an insta-kill while one of your score streaks ends up going off. Have 3 Pack-a-Punch level 3 legendary rarity weapons equipped with ammo mods and 8 perks active. This is going to be a challenge where you got to work your way up to some pretty decent high rounds to make sure you have enough money to afford all this, let alone salvage, unless you pop some Gobblegums that will give you a boost. Next up we have Countdown, kill an elite zombie by launching it with a jump pad. So what you want to do for this is make sure the elite zombie is as low health as possible, then walk to a jump pad and go ahead and launch it. That should kill the elite pretty quickly. If a future map has a launch pad, then hey, you can do this with a different elite enemy that ends up spawning in. But we then have the new and improved Box Addict Challenge. In BO6, it wanted you to acquire all the unique launch weapons, which became pretty tough after a bunch of DLC weapons got added, which I think they later updated so that you were able to get any weapon, including DLC. In Black Ops 7, all you have to do is spin the box 30 different times and collect whatever comes out of that box, regardless if it's the same weapon you already obtained, regardless of duplicates, so long as you buy 30 weapons from this box, it'll unlock this challenge. We then have Lucidity. They want you to complete the Tank Dempsey side quest on Ashes of the Damned, which I covered in my all side Easter eggs video that I just posted around a week ago. It simply consists of you playing as Dempsey when spawning in and interacting with a dog tag here in the fog, which will spawn you into a really cool side Easter egg that actually explores Dempsey's story in this new Dark Ether timeline. But next up we have New Main, kill 1,000 zombies with each of the 8 dedicated crew operators. Again, this is the Requiem crew that carried forward from BO6 and the original characters which are now playable in BO7, so as long as you track the kills that you're getting with each character, which you could just do by looking at the scoreboard by the end of every match, this one should end up unlocking unlocking after 8,000 total kills. We then have Ingenuity, reach round 50 with the Dragon Wings and Lawyer's Pen relics equipped. Now both of these relics are actually a part of tier 1, which are also required if you want to go ahead and enable the golden armor wall buy, which I did cover in a separate video that I'll have linked down below. And the last one we know of so far is to complete the Ashes of the Damned main Easter egg boss fight at round 100 or higher. I also love the fact that high rounders are being given their moment right now. I mean, there's relics they have to get to a high round to get. You have to do the Easter egg on a high round, and there's even a Dark Ops requiring you to get to the highest round in the game. This is crazy, but is what high rounders have been asking for many, many years now. Like I said earlier though, collecting all augments for every single weapon, collecting all 8 curse relics, which as of recording this, there's still one missing, and definitely doing something in Dead Ops Arcade 4 will end up getting us closer to unlocking every single Dark Ops challenge inside of Zombies. What I believe is that once you end up getting at least over 15 of these, it'll be like multiplayer where you can get the Zombies Mastery Dark Ops calling card by not having completed every single one of them, but at least over half of them. But that is about it, ladies and gentlemen. This has been dkdynamite. Leave all your thoughts down below in the comment section. What are your thoughts on every Dark Ops challenge for the campaign, multiplayer, and even zombies? Don't forget to check out that detonated article periodically, as it will get updated with new information and even more efficient strategies to unlock everything. With that being said, really hope you've enjoyed, and peace out, everybody.